We just wrapped a complete tour of California Adventure today. The rain is gone finally, and the energy was amazing. But wait till you see how busy it was. It was incredible. We're gonna take a full tour around the park, checking out every land and every attraction. Join us for our State of DCA report. And breaking news, it is not raining here at DCA today. This is the first vlog I've done at Disneyland Resort in a while, I think, where it hasn't been raining. Even our last State of Disneyland report, we got away with one there. But man, it has just been, the weather's been, well, great actually, in my opinion, because we can always use rain here. We don't get nearly enough rain, so I was happy to see it. But we're at DCA today, and I am happy to be here once more to see the crowds, to see what's happening around the park, and to let you guys know what is going on. Hey, look, it's the 5 and dime.
But this kind of fun sure beats working at the 5 and 10 kind of fun.
You always had so much class, 5 and 10 dime.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say, Suit.
That's right, and as soon as we saw her, we knew she was 1 in a million.
You don't say.
Lucky April shower. It was the most convenient door.
And I don't know if you heard, but last night we got to perform right over there at the Carthay Circle Lounge.
Talk about swanky, all those lovely ladies dripping in diamonds.
Oh, it was quite a night, and this next song.
Love the 5 and dime, man. Love that show. That's a great show, especially the non-seasonal. The regular original show is the best. And I especially love that dime. She's the best out of all of them, in my opinion, although they're all great. But I love her spirit. She's got a lot of personality. She's really into it. You can just see that performing is part of her. It's fantastic. By the way, is that the guy on bass? He's new to this group, but not new to Disneyland, am I right? I want to say Billy Hill, and I want to say also the Bootstrappers. I'm pretty sure he's a friend of the Bootstrappers and a friend of Billy Hill. And that'll take us down Hollywood Boulevard as we pace the 5 and dime. It's too bad they don't do that show out here in the street anymore, where the vehicle is an actual prop in the show. Well, at least more of a proper prop. But still, it's great to have the 5 and dime here. There's a show that I missed. The Newsboys out there with the red car trolley, and they would do the whole show out there with Mickey dancing and singing. It was great. That show was great. I miss that. I miss Minnie's Fly Girls over there in Grizzly Peak, although we're far away from that. We'll catch up on that later. Maybe I'll remember. We could do a flashback. You guys want a flashback to the Minnie Fly Girls at the end of the show or near the end? Stay tuned. What? I'm really loving Hollywood Boulevard right now. You've got the 5 and dime going down the street, and you've got the red car trolley. They just shook hands. We're gonna go to Hollywood Studios to check in on Mike and Sully to the rescue. Posted wait time says 30 minutes. Got some folks jumping into Lightning Lane already. 30 minutes, that's a pretty good sign. Although I'm afraid to say, I feel like that's going to be the low end of that number. If you get to 30 from here, you're doing pretty good, because they're using almost all of that queue back there. Right. I was in that queue for 30 seconds. I'm like, that ain't 30.
Otherwise, they must enter the cab shortest to tallest. We thank you for your patience.
There needs to be a smash cut of me saying that's wrong, and then we get announcements over the speaker saying, you're right, David, that's wrong. It's not 30 minutes, it's 45 minutes. That queue was full. It was just those back 2 rows back there that weren't being used, and they could because they hadn't yet extended it. So I was at the back of the queue. When I was filming that little segment, I was actually in the back of the queue. So that'll fill up at least one of those lanes with the guests that were in the alley that's supposed to... Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying, right? Hooray for Hollywood. We've arrived at the Hyperion where there is still no show. I'm just standing by. I'm waiting for some kind of cryptic message on that marquee giving us some kind of indication of what Disney plans for the Hyperion Theater. I feel like there's only one thing to do, and that's Rogers the Musical. It's just the only thing that makes any sense. But here's an interesting development. This is worth noting. The scrim and scaffold are down outside of the Hyperion Theater, and it seems to be revealing a new paint job. The facade has been painted, you know, the sort of off-white colored facade, and the steel and the stairs all look like they've gotten a fresh coat of paint. What you repainting the Hyperion Theater for, Disney, if you're not going to put a new show in there? Why don't you go ahead and talk about it? You don't think they'll wait all the way to D23, would they? Is that a reveal? No, they should just go ahead and tell us right now what's happening at the Hyperion Theater. Things are happening right now also out in front of Mission Breakout. A lot of crowd here, big crowd. Groot. Okay, that's Groot. Let's see what's going on with the attraction. 55 minutes is the standby wait time right now. Unlike last week, no accumulated lightning lane out here. The queue back there is about half full. So that's not bad. Meanwhile, there's nobody out here in this queue, and the regular exterior queue is maybe 2/3 full, if that, not even maybe half full. Strongly doubting 55 is the true standby here. This feels more like 35 or 40. I would love to be able to stick around. You know what we're gonna do actually? Because it is lunchtime and I'm starving. I'm gonna mark the back of that queue. I'm gonna mark the back of the Mission Breakout queue. Go get some lunch at Pimp's Test Kitchen. Maybe try a beer mimosa. Because I just saw that for the first time today and it really had me curious. We'll get something to eat and then we'll come back and see what's happening with the back of the queue. That's the bigger than buffalo wings. Buffalo turkey wing with spicy ranch potato bites. Spicy ranch, all right. Carrot and celery slaw looks interesting, and garnished with buffalo chicken wing and blue cheese. I like how they said you're gonna get buffalo chicken wing and they're gonna garnish it with another buffalo chicken wing. This is, I wasn't prepared to how this was gonna look. Because it's either a really large buffalo wing or a small turkey leg. I'm not sure which. It's spicy. Wow. That is spicy. My goodness. It's like it's a buffalo wing. Just a really big one. Oh my God. That's so spicy. I'm trying my best to hold on here. But this is something that you gotta be ready for. This might be the spiciest thing I've ever had at Disneyland. Try some of that slaw. On its own, it probably wouldn't be as good as it is, but it's a perfect pairing with a super spicy buffalo wing and shock top. It's all great. One more thing to try. Let's go for the top. I mean, it's a top. I ate the small wing first. I could barely lift this thing. This thing is heavy. Blue cheese works perfectly with this. Oh my gosh. love that music. That music gives me chills every time I hear it. That's the best part about eating at Pim's Test Kitchen. Is there's always a show happening around you. Get a seat out here on the rail. Always some kind of show. Sorry, still reacting to the buffalo wings. Let's try that beer mimosa. It's not bad. It's like a shock top. They basically, it's a shock top. But there's that. There's the show. The Avengers Assemble show. Characters are always running around here constantly. So it's more than just attractions here at Avengers Campus, which is why I feel like it's a really great modern land that gets misunderstood because people just get lost in the Avengers side of it, the Marvel side, forget how good this land really is in delivering value as a place to be, in spite of the fact that it only has 2 attractions. Well, I cannot even begin to describe to you the volatile situation that has been happening out here outside of Mission Breakout in the 45 minutes to an hour that I just spent tracking things and having lunch there at Pim Test Kitchen. Very good lunch, by the way. I really enjoyed it. While I was shooting the B-roll, before I picked up my lunch, I watched the queue vanish. So there was no lightning lane, right? And we observed that. And the queue dropped down to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, while I was having my lunch, all the people that I saw in the standby queue at the time that I was shooting it walked by me while I was having my lunch. So I knew I was too late to come back here and track and see how quickly they got through, but they got through much faster than that 55 minutes. It had already been maybe 20 or 30. In fact, I noticed, although I didn't capture it, the wait time went down to 25 minutes out here, in that time. Then I went back to go eat my lunch, came back out here, and I'm like, there's no way that thing is gonna stay at 20 minutes. It's gonna be like that. And it validates, or has validated, just about every observation that I have about the flow of guests and how quickly they react to changes in standby, especially when the wait time gets down to 20 minutes like that at a ride like Mission Breakout. People have flocked here, and now there's 3 switchbacks. There's 3 switchbacks right now at Lightning Lane, plus whatever's inside, the proper exterior queue for Lightning Lane. But there's 3 switchbacks where it was completely empty before. It is now 150 people out there in the Lightning Lane. They've jumped the standby wait time to 65 minutes, and it could probably go up to even higher than that, I would imagine, if Lightning Lane continues to show up. I don't know what triggered that. I don't know what triggered the Lightning Lanes to show up like they did out of nowhere. This is literally in less than an hour, maybe 30, 40 minutes, this all happened. Incredible. Meanwhile, all that empty space that we saw in standby queue in the backside where the exit is, all of that empty space has been filled, and then some. It has grown and expanded out into the excess area out there where guests exit after going through the gift shop. This reminds me of the situation we saw in the last update from DCA, the last State of DCA report at Goofy Sky School, where things were happening, things were very fluid. This reminds me of that. I'm gonna park here for a minute and see what happens. What I expect to happen is to see that standby drop from 65 back down to 45 or something like that as people come by here and they see what's happening out here in the standby or in the Lightning Lane queue. They see all these guests filled up. They see the wait time at 65 minutes and they pass. By the way, fun fact, this is something I learned. They call that a balk. That is something that the engineers, the social engineers who monitor this kind of thing, who actually are out here with clipboards and data pads, track. They call that a balk. When they'll watch and see how many guests show up here, look at the queue, and then say no and keep walking. As opposed to getting in and waiting, they want to see how many, at what point do guests object and then keep walking instead of trying to get in the queue. And that's a thing that I've talked about a lot in previous discussions about most queues at Disneyland the resort, DCA included. There's a built-in limit. It's self-regulating. There is a maximum. Each attraction has its built-in maximum that guests are willing to wait. and you don't hardly ever see attractions go above whatever that is. Guardians of the Galaxy, I want to say probably 70 or 80 minutes is the maximum, which is higher than usual. Right now it's 65, but I do think that, you know, on a day like today, there's a lot of options. A lot of options right now. You could be doing other things instead of spending 65 minutes in the Mission Breakout queue. So this, I think we're going to see a lot of balks here, and that's going to allow them to cycle the queue down a little bit. And then in the next 10 or 15 minutes, we'll see that standby wait time drop. Different kind of show today for a State of DCA report. I admit, I don't typically do food reviews or this much analysis. I mean, I do analysis, but not to the level that we just did on Mission Breakout. But I feel like when a situation like that presents itself, I've got to talk about it. I've got to watch and learn and talk about it, because that's what I want to be able to do for you guys. My number one goal in any video that I make is to be able to take the anxiety and the confusion. I want to make going to Disneyland as stress-free as possible for you guys, so that you can be better equipped, better, you know, educated, and understand how fluid things can be here at the park, and that, you know, you can see a thing and not get intimidated. I don't want you to be afraid to go to Disneyland or be intimidated by what happens here. Or in the reverse, see something like a 45-minute standby at Web Slingers and see that as an opportunity. Because I would not classify this standby queue that I'm looking at right now as an opportunity. This is a worst case scenario, strictly speaking, for standby. Hi guys. You don't typically want to see guests in this part of the queue. That's not optimal. And if they're out there, they're probably in the bullpen back there as well. The one thing that this Web Slingers queue has going forward, as you can see, it actually is kind of moving. One thing that does have going for it is literally nobody in the Lightning Lane queue. Okay, there's a couple guests right now. Similar to the situation that we just saw at Mission Breakout. If that stays the way it is, if that Lightning Lane queue stays empty like it is, expect that 45-minute wait time to drop. They'll cycle all those guests back there and stand by and get through those. But if anybody shows up in Lightning Lane, that's not going to be a 45-minute wait. Well, 2:45, about 15 minutes later, and they've managed to clear most of the Lightning Lane queue, at least this part out here, out in the walkways. So you won't have yet seen an effect on standby. That won't start changing, the 65-minute number. That won't start changing until they get rid of all of this. They get rid of everything here in Lightning Lane, and then they can start cycling more standby guests. So we'll check the tip board, I would say, in another 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll watch that number, we'll see that number change. No joke, I think it's taken me almost 2 hours just to get through an Avengers Campus on this State of DCA report. Normally I can get this whole thing done in about 3.5 hours. I've spent almost half that time just getting through our first two lands, Hollywood Land and Avengers Campus. We've got some work to do, Fresh Baked. We got some catching up to do. These folks are getting, oh, the music's going down. I think Spider-Man is about ready to show up, but we did that last time, so we're gonna keep moving through to Toy Story Land. I have no idea why I just said Toy Story Land. I think I did, right? I said Toy Story Land. We're in Cars Land next. And that's where we'll find Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. Posted at 20 minutes. That sounds and looks about right. What I'm looking at in this queue, that's a 20-minute queue. They're running both sides, which is great. This is a go. But, I mean, to be honest, I've never had a reason or needed a reason to go on Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. It's always a go for me. Probably the second best ride in all of DCA, in my opinion. Let me think about that. You got Radiator Springs Racers, right? And then, yeah, Mater's. Goofy Sky School, Incredicoaster, those are great. I can't think of another one at the moment. Mater's, it's the best, second best. And as we make our way down Route 66, I haven't even yet commented, I've realized, on really the crowds, the condition of the crowds today, which I would say this is actually a pretty solid day attendance-wise for DCA in February. I've been impressed with the level of crowds. I've been impressed with how busy things are. It's not super busy, obviously. It's not like holiday busy, but they're doing pretty great today. This is a good turnout for DCA in February. By the way, I was also at Disneyland after the rains on Wednesday. The rains had stopped on Wednesday, and I was doing some recon at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and at Pirates of the Caribbean. And oh my gosh, the crowds and the queues for those two attractions on that day were kind of incredible. So we're not seeing much of a break. It's a little bit of a break, but not much of one here in the off season in February. You can't really even say off season anymore. Slightly less busy season than the regular season here at the Disneyland Resort. I was about ready to check in on Luigi's. There are folks being turned away at the door. The doors are closed. The wait is shut at Luigi's. They're actually trying to open the door, but no, you can't go in. So we're closed. Nothing to measure here. Looks like Radiator Springs Racers is running. I'm expecting busy. No. Okay, what we've been greeted with is the Lightning Lane queue. Heavens, the Murgatroyd posted standby is 95 minutes, and it's probably going to be all of that, although we're not out here in the bullpen. But I mean, look at this. The Lightning Lane is all the way. My gosh. This is a no-go. Unless you're doing a 30-ride recon session at Radiator Springs Races, you should not be getting into this queue. Even if it looks short, even if it looks like it does right now, this is a no-go. You never want to get into a queue that's got this kind of Lightning Lane. Oh my gosh. I wish I had time to measure this today. But that's one of the scariest sights you'll ever see out here. The worst I ever saw, seen it twice in my recent endeavors, in measuring the queues at Radiator Springs Racers, which we're still working on. It's a work in progress. But out here at Cross Street, the back of the Lightning Lane queue was all the way out here to Cross Street. And that was a grueling standby session, let me just tell you. Radiator Springs Racers, probably the most popular attraction in the history of Disneyland at least. I know that attractions like Space Mountain and Star Tours and Rise of the Resistance have had their moments, but this has been the most consistently busy attraction that I've ever, and it's been what? It's been 10 years? At least, no, more than that. It's been more than a decade that Radiator Springs Racers has been doing it. Day in and day out. And that's because it's got something for everybody. It's for the entire family. And that's something that you don't see a lot of in other parks. You don't see a lot of big attractions like this that are good for the whole family. You go to Universal Studios, we were just talking about that in our last live stream, and I was saying, what does Universal Studios Hollywood need more than anything else? And there were a lot of good suggestions, but the one thing that park needs more than anything else is attractions for the whole family. Attractions that everybody can ride. Slower attractions. Not everything has to be the super big wow attractions. Smaller attractions. This isn't a small attraction, mind you. But for a big attraction, it's perfect because it's good enough. 40 inches, that's all you need. 40 inches, which isn't bad. That's 4 or 5 years old. And the whole family can go on. Everybody loves it. You don't even have to be a fan of Cars. I don't like the Cars movies. I don't. But I would easily agree with you that Radiator Springs Racers is the best ride in the entire Disneyland Resort. I mean, objectively speaking, I have my personal favorites. I'm sure you do as well. But objectively speaking, Radiator Springs Racers is the best ride in the entire Disneyland Resort. It might be the best ride in the United States, at any U.S. Disneyland or Disney park. And that's my TED Talk. on Radiator Springs Racers. I do hope you enjoyed. It's great. So too is San Fransokyo. Look at this, you guys. Have I said this before? Have I talked about how cool it is to come in to San Fransokyo from this, from Radiator Springs Racers, and you get that cool sign right there. But then just to see the energy that's coming out of this place, there are, a bunch of different places to eat. Everybody's having a great time. You got that beautiful new sort of marquee out there with the San Fransokyo Bridge. It looks great. It looks really, really good. I think that they have hit a home run here. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If it's not a home run, it's at least a stand-up triple. Oh, look, and by the way, they've got Baymax out here meeting guests, one of the cutest damn characters you'll ever find at a Disney park. See, look at that. What?
We should take a photograph.
Did you guys hear him? Did you hear him? He was giving her a hug, and then he said, we should take a photograph. Oh my God, I love Baymax. Baymax is, the people talk about spirit animals. I don't know if this qualifies, but Baymax is the human that I want to be. I want to be a super friendly, huggable robot. That's literally me. That's literally me. I want to be a robot, but also you can hug me. That'll be great. So anyway, doing those reports, and with the recent updates they've done here at the park at DCA, they have turned a park that I used to complain about. I used to bitch about DCA all the time, about how it wasn't Walt's vision or anything like that, whatever. These reports and my continued efforts to come here, and then the update, I love DCA now. I think DCA is great. I mean, it's still, there are things that it could use, i.e. more attractions. It needs more attractions. We talked about in the last update, especially attractions just like Universal, attractions that are for the whole family, smaller dark rides, things like that. But DCA I'm having a heck of a time. I'm having a great time here today, man. With that, we have found ourselves at Paradise Bay. Let's take a look at the tip board. And look at that scene, by the way. Look at this scene before we even pull up the tip board. I can't get enough of this on a weekend or a weekly basis. It's magnificent. All right. But having said that, let's pull up the tip board, take a look, find some attractions, see where we're at. I'm betting by the time that we get here, we will have seen some changes in the wait time for Web Slingers and Mission Breakout. That's my guess. Goopy Sky School. Oh, I'm sorry. Golden Zephyr is closed, which I can confirm. I just looked to my right and it is closed. Goopy Sky School is closed. That's not a good start. Okay, so I was wrong about Mission Breakout. My goodness. It must have been the case that Standby kept showing up, but we got the opposite result here than I was expecting. It must be the case that, I should say, that Lightning Lane is showing up. It's a 2+ hour return time, which suggests that they have quite a few out there still, people looking to cash in their Lightning Lanes. Okay, Incredicoaster 30 minutes with a hour return time, pretty standard. Emotional Whirlwind is back up and running. It's returned from its refurb. It's at 20 minutes. I'm gonna laugh when we walk by. It's gonna look the same. Jesse's is the same, as always, 5 minutes. Jumping Jellyfish, etc. Little Mermaid, 15 minutes. Return time of now. I just turned around. Standby actually looks pretty deep right now. So hopefully that, even though it's deep, it's because it's just Standby and it's not influenced by Lightning Lane, which I don't see a lot of. If your return time is now, it's looking like people are not using it. Luigi's is open. It was closed when we were there just a few minutes ago, but it's now open at 30 minutes. Mater's has jumped to 25 minutes, up 5 minutes when we walk by. Monsters Inc. is closed. It's not a good day for DCA right now on this tip board. Pixar Pal Around, which we're looking at right now, 30-minute standby for swinging. Radiator Springs Racers has jumped another 10 minutes. It's now at 105. Yikes. The Silly Symphony swings, which you can hear right now, probably 10 minutes. Soarin' at 30, considering how busy everything else is. Surprised to see Soarin' at 30 minutes right now with a return time in just 20 minutes. Toy Story, 55 minutes, 2+ hour return time. So what we're seeing kind of reconciles with what I was talking about when we were going through Route 66. It's a busy day. This is a pretty busy day. Where were we? Web Slingers. Well, okay, it's down a little bit. It didn't go up. It's at 40 now with a return time of an hour. So I'm both surprised and not surprised by what I saw on that tip board, particularly with respect to Mission Breakout. Surprised because I would have thought that there would have been balking, that there would have been, nah, we'll pass, we'll come back and see that later. Mission Breakout, that is, when they see a 65-minute standby and the Lightning Lane queue where it is. But they have gotten in the queue. Standby guests are still getting in that queue, and Lightning Lane is still showing up. But I'm not surprised because it's busy. It's busy out here. So there's not exactly a lot to do, especially with comparison to Disneyland. So your choices are kind of limited. Not severely so, but I mean, what else are you gonna do? Maybe they've done everything already. We're at what, 3:30 in the afternoon right now, I think. So you're probably using up your Lightning Lanes by now and trying to just get as many attractions in as you can. With that, we'll go to Pixar Pier. Look at that sky. That's scary. That'd make a great thumbnail, though. Would it not? That's a great thumbnail. I don't think it'll work, but I love seeing clouds in the sky in the background like that. Hey, how are you? Look at that. Wow. There you go, guys. Need I show you more? That's just a sea of people down there.
Head back, face forward, and hold on.
Great shot right here, man.
2, 1, go!
Wow. Look at DCA go. Look at you go. She's all grown up. Single rider. Not a bargain. I would rather be in the standby queue right now, I think. Just at first glance. That does not go as quickly as you would hope it would. However, having said that, that is standby right here. That's standby. That's it. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is something that I'm going to want to follow up on. Wow. That's a heck of a lot of folks getting into standby right now. We saw, what did we see on the tip board? It was 30 minutes? Yeah, no way. That says 30 minutes, just like we saw on the tip board. There's no way that's 30 minutes. What we're seeing right here, this queue right in front of us, that's Lightning Lane. And that is terrifying. You never want to see Lightning Lane out here like that at Incredicoaster. If that's 30 minutes, I will once again eat my hat. Last update we were saying it was posted at 20 or 30, I think it was 25 or 30, and we're like, no, it's more like 10. That turned out to be the case. I'm gonna look at, God, this standby queue is just the sickest thing I think I've seen in such a long time. There is no way that's 30 minutes. There's no way. We're gonna mark the standby just like we did for Mission Breakout. We're gonna go do some business elsewhere in the park, and then come back and see how this looks. I have to find out. I gotta try at least. I can't even. I kind of came down. There's so much confusion right now at this entrance. There are people leaving. There are people trying to find the back of the standby queue, and there are people who are trying to find the back of the Lightning Lane queue all at the same time, all right here. It's like a nexus of hell. And no sooner had I said that I hit the stop button, but a guest just walked by me. You're like, is this the line? Where am I going? This sort of collection of guests right here, I think they're trying to find the back of, I don't know, are they trying to find the back of Lightning? Yeah, they're out here creating more temporary switchbacks out here. They're creating a new lane, so that is more standby. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep going. I wish I could stay there and just see how that works out, but I have to keep going. But we'll try to come back and see if we can't pick up where that standby queue went. In the meantime, we'll come to Toy Story Midway Mania, where I expect to find, more bad news for guests today. And I have been accommodated on that. 55-minute standby still, as we saw on the tip board. But you've got quite a collection of guests out here in the exterior queue, more than you would hope to see. But that's not the real bad news. The real bad news is this. That's definitely more Lightning Lane than you want to see. You never want to see it come out here to nearly the threshold. You want to see a smattering of Lightning Lane here at Toy Story, maybe 10 or 15 guests. This is more like 40 or 50. This is not going to go well for them, I'm afraid. But again, that is reconciling with everything else that we've been seeing today. It's just busy. No breaks, no discounts. It doesn't matter what day of the week. It's a Friday. Doesn't matter what time of day. Doesn't matter what month. It's just busy here. Good for you, Disney. Good for you, Disneyland Resort. Good for you, guests of Disney, coming to the park and having yourself a magical time. The thing is in spite of the fact that it's this busy here on a day where you wouldn't expect it to be necessarily, that's, again, why we're here, because you can see this and still have options. You still have intelligence to help you navigate all of this drama in a way that can be more peaceful for you. 30 minutes here at the non-swinging gondola Pixar Pal around. I mean, I've seen worse, but it's not great. Like I've said before, you don't want to see it coming around the corner like that. And you probably don't want to see the swinging gondola queue come out around the corner like it is about to here. I think these guests are all in the queue. That was 45 minutes. 45 minutes for the swinging gondola. And there's more of those than there are of the non-swinging. There you go. Emotional Whirlwind is back, thank goodness. And we do have a change to report. It's actually a 30-minute standby right now. Normally, every time we come here, the queue is right exactly here. And the upper portion and the lower portion is never have any guests, but now people are showing up. They've been without Emotional Whirlwind for a month, and they need to get some of that. There's no way that's true, but I want to believe that's the case. I want to believe that people really desire to go on Emotional Whirlwind. It's great. It's great. Looks pretty full up there for Silly Symphony. It's posted at 10. Okay, no, this isn't bad. It's weird to see how some attractions are not affected by the crowds and some are. Although I would guess that it's kind of cyclical. Like the swings will have their turn. People are going to see this is the one option or a good option instead of, let's say, going on Emotional Whirlwind. They'll see this attraction and like, hey, let's do this instead. And then that'll back up. It takes the pressure off of Emotional Whirlwind or possibly Goofy Sky School, as we're going to next. Oh no. Okay, Goofy Sky, it was closed actually. Now that I think about it, Goofy Sky School was closed when we were checking the tip board. It is open again, which is good. Standby says 30 minutes as we approach, but that queue is sticking out. Oh my gosh, the standby queue is sticking out of the threshold here. Yeah, I mean, while we were standing here, right guys, while I was walking up, it went from 30, in the seconds that I was walking up, it went from 30 to 40, which reconciles with what we were seeing with the queue sticking out like that, and with it being all the, this little bullpen is full down here. Oh wow, they look like they're stuck. They're getting ready to extend things out here. They're getting ready to grow it. My guess is that it was down, it reopened, so they didn't have any queue prep set up for a burst of guests. Every time this happens, whenever an attraction is closed for even just a little bit amount of time, when it reopens, it's empty, right? So when it reopens, that causes a lot of urgency. So while I've talked about that for Rise of the Resistance, if you're not in the neighborhood when it reopens, it's too late. It's already too late. That's actually true for just about every other attraction. Every other attraction that has even a little bit of demand, like Goofy Sky School. That's an attraction that has been closed for a while. They see that it reopens, and they're like, we haven't done that yet. It's been closed. Let's get down there. And if you're not in the neighborhood, expect to find a 30 or 40-minute wait immediately. No sooner did I finish shooting that, did they finish their new rope setup, and they're going to start sending guests out here into the garden. In real time, we're watching this queue explode. Wow. They're going to empty the bullpen, send that out into the garden, and then, the guests will start, they'll clear all those guests out that were poking out into the walkway. You don't want to see that. I love this. This is life. This gives me life, man. I hope this helps. I really do, man. I walk around DCA and I'm like, is anybody even into what I'm talking about? I asked that question during our Pirates of the Caribbean video. I'm like, do you care? But I know it's going to help some of you. I know that there are folks out there who really want to know what to expect. You want to set the expectation so that when you get there, you're not like overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this. Now what do I do? You can have, okay, I hope let's go to Little Mermaid. That's about what I saw when I was looking, when we were doing the tip board and I turned around and I looked at the queue. That's about what I saw, was a fairly long queue. You don't want to see people leaning up against the rails like that. That's not a good thing. But I don't think it's too bad. The posted wait time is 25 right now. Standby was pretty much the only queue to getting guests. There was a smattering of a Lightning Lane going through. That's fine. That's fine. It's not even going to be 25. Let's talk about this again for a second. Let's talk about the crowd right now. This is great. This is Lunar New Year. Part of that, it's that effect. It's been about a week now. No, more, maybe 10 days, has it? I don't know. But that's pretty good. Normally these things die down after the first week or so. But Lunar New Year is exceptional in my opinion. But it's keeping the people coming into the park, trying the food, seeing the show, looking at the merch right here at the festival merchandise tent. I'm hoping, once again, that when this is over and they clear these tents out, that they might be able to restore the Little Mermaid entrance, the proper entrance right here for standby. Well, I've returned to Incredicoaster to find that it might have gotten worse. Lightning Lane, this is a first for me. Lightning Lane. Okay, can I even get, oh my gosh. Here we go. It's at Jesse's. The back of Lightning Lane is now at Jesse's. Let me clarify for those of you who are interested in Genie Plus or Lightning Lane. That's not a problem for you. That won't be a problem for Genie Plus or Lightning Lane. It's longer than you want it to be. It's going to be a longer wait than you would normally have, but you're going to get through pretty quickly still. That's still maybe just 10 or 15 minutes, if that. That's what the problem is for standby. They're going to have to wait for Disney to cycle all those Lightning Lane guests, man. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to measure or find the back of the queue that I saw earlier. It's been about a half an hour. Let's go take a look. If I can find my way through all of this mass of humanity. Let me see here. Okay, pardon me guys, sorry. And there we go, we just split the Lightning Lane queue. There's no way. Okay, it's now posted at 60. They had it at 30. Put this one in the books for that video that I was talking about in last week's State of Disneyland report, where I'm like, I want to test that theory that Disney is inflating standby wait times artificially high. to encourage people to buy GD Plus. They had it at 30, and I said, no, it is not 30. It's probably double that, and sure enough, it is double that. And I'm not even sure if that's correct. And I'm looking now into the standby queue down here in the lower level, and I can see where there's some of the guests that I saw at the back of the queue when we were here a half an hour ago. They're still down in the lower level here. They're not anywhere near. They're maybe halfway, and it's been 30 minutes. Normally I would wait around and see how that goes, see how quickly but there's no chance. They've got all that competition out there still. The lightning lane has gotten worse since we started this reconnaissance. So I don't think it's gonna suddenly pick up pace. It might get worse. They could wind up being in here for more than an hour. I got the rest of my report to do. Let's go back to Grizzly River Run. This is the most incredible thing that I've ever seen at the Incredibles. Hi. Not since, you know, the Pixar Pier reopened after being Paradise Pier. Not since then have I seen, for this attraction specifically. This is incredible. Take a quick moment to spot the back of the queue. It has actually grown. We had it right here at Jesse before. And, oh no, it hasn't grown. It's about where we left it. Okay. I thought I saw guests over here, but it hasn't shortened, that's for sure. We're still at Jesse. Good for you, DCA. My goodness. I thought it was going to be busy today, but I was not expecting this. I always wonder what the narrative is going to be for a particular State of Disneyland report. And I try to imagine what's going to happen today, you know, like what's going to be the big story, what's going to be the thing that reveals itself at the end of the day. This is not what I was expecting. Hi guys. Hi. I think it's Fresh Bake Day. Wow. Summer. It's supposed to be the super ultra busy time of the year, second only to the holidays, right? Summer wasn't half as busy as it is today here in February. I can't shut up about it. I can't stop talking about this. This is just the most interesting, fascinating thing to happen here for me at DCA in quite some time. I am riveted by this. With that, we'll get ourselves a little bit of peace here, a little bit of quiet at Grizzly Peak. Not quite as congested. We saw a 30-minute standby for Soarin' around the world when we checked the tip board. See if that holds up. Look at that. You guys, you just can't tell, man. There's nobody in the lightning lane queue. What? You tell me they're all at Incredicoaster right now? Why is it? How is that possible that everybody could just show up at one attraction like that? Be that at Mission Breakout before, Incredicoaster, but nobody's here at Soarin'. Go figure. It's a 45-minute posted standby right now. The queue is pretty full out here. This standby queue is pretty full compared to what we've seen in the past. So that's a strong queue for Soarin'. That's a strong standby queue. It's lengthy, but there's nobody here in Lightning Lane, which is just super, super interesting. I guess there are some. There's the back of the queue right there. So that's, just a little bit more, and you can start coming out here into the walkway. But we've seen Lightning Lane, just like we saw at Incredicoaster, come out here into the walkway, and towards Carthay Circle. And with that, we have found ourselves back at Carthay Circle, where we began a few hours ago, enjoying Five and Dime out here in front of the fountain and remarking on how wonderful that show is and how wonderful she is. Great start to the show. Amazing interlude that we've had in between, and now we're going to wrap. And I have to say, it's been a good day for me as well. I've met 100 people today out here through the course of doing our State of DCA report. All of them exceptionally nice and just grateful for the show, and I'm grateful for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we're providing some kind of value for you. So with that, we're going to end this show today, our State of DCA report. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. You can follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's Fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show, I did it again. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you next time. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked. Surprise, I came back. We're back at the Incredicoaster. It's been an hour. It's now been an hour. They have completely cleared this standby queue. They have completely cleared the lightning lane queue. Once more, it's the opposite. Now it says 60, and I'm guessing it's probably closer to maybe 20 or 30 right now. I would love to hang around and measure that, but I'm just here to see if I can't find the back of the queue that I witnessed an hour ago come out of Incredicoaster. Literally, I've been waiting here for about maybe 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and the back of the queue has just exited the Incredicoaster an hour later. Incredible.